Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, my honorable lecturer. In this lovely occasion, I would like to discuss about my reading report is talking about second and foreign language acquisition. But before coming to my presentation, let me introduce myself. My name is Abel Leo, and I am a student from Introduction to Applied Linguistic. Now let us discuss our topic today is talking about second and foreign language acquisition. Well, the first discussion from this topic is talking about what makes somebody a good language learning. Well, recent research on individual difference in SLA has shown that the learner's internal characteristics do play a role, but only in complex interaction with potentially limitless and unpredictable contexts. In other words, source language learner have a common personality profile that greatly influences their progress and final achievement, because one person may have experienced a trigger event so that they think that they need to master the second language as fast as they can, but maybe somebody do not have the same experience, so they don't think to master the second language as fast as they can, and the process become insignificant and slow. The second discussion from this topic is talking about age effect and the critical period hypothesis. Paradis has suggested that the HFS is due to decreased procedural memory for second language learners, which force the learners to rely on explicit learning instead. Paradis argues that the upper age limit varies with respect to the components of the implicit language system acquired through exposure to language interaction. This means that age greatly affects the implicit learning method, but memorizing vocabulary is using the explicit method. It's not influenced by age. Young people are more likely to understand language faster than people who start older. The third discussion from this topic, it is talking about instructional environment and authentic use of English. Well, according to Gregorius Mercius, fictional foreign language learner created his unique teaching environment for mastering the Portuguese language. The first, he started to study by himself by using grammar, dictionaries, and course book, and then they tried to practice the Portuguese language by themselves. He moved to Lisbon to continue his study to master Portuguese language. And as we know that Lisbon is the capital city the capital city from Portugal. And according to him that if we use our second language in their own environment, they feel that the environment is support him to master their second language. It means that it is Portuguese, and this method can also apply in English language. For example, if we want to master English as our second language, and unfortunately we stay in England, it will help us to master English language fast, because we live in the environment which most of the people use English language, so it can help us to master English faster than if we stay in Indonesia, for example. The next is what is automaticity? Automaticity is a person's ability to respond or understanding something. In this case, it's for linguistic. Well, the ability to understand something for each people is different. This also influence in linguistic matters. Each individual has their own ability to learn their second language depending on their self and their environment, like I said before. The next is transition from second language learner to second language user. Based on the book that I read, second language learner who acquired their second language through formal instruction tend to be monolithic at first and choosing a style of speech in the middle of a continuum for both oral and written production. They will use the formal language for their second language, and then once they become the second language users, they begin to pick up the linguistic characteristic and patterns of variation from first language user of their chosen target language, which mean it is English, which mean it English. It was at this time that the alternation between the two sociolinguistic or pragmatic variants began to appear. So it means that when the second language when they are the second language learners, they will focus by using the formal language. But when they change become the second language user, they will try to use the patterns or the characteristic the pattern or the characteristic of variation from first language users. So they will try to act like the first language user, and they will try to choose they will try to use the sociolinguistic and the pragmatic variants from the first language users. Well, I think that's all for me. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.